Fear can be paralyzing, and fear can be our our greatest motivation, depending on the angle we take and how we let lightness and dark filter through. Fear is one of those things that, can we really escape fear? I don't think so, but can we find an appreciation and a respect for fear and move forward with it? That's where I think the separation occurs between people who go out and do what they have to do regardless of circumstance, happenstance, and those who wait or make excuses for certain things. So I'm going to dissect all that I just said. I just kind of wanted you to get in the mindset of fear and get comfortable with me talking about fear, because there are some people who, as soon as they hear someone else talking about their fears, that anxiety starts to creep up. And maybe it's happened to you right now, because it's one of those things that we all want to be different from one another. You know, we all want to be better than one another in one way or the other, whether we want to admit it or not. There's a competition, that ego inside that says, maybe it'll happen to this guy, or maybe this happened to this woman, but that won't be me. There's no way that same thing would happen to me. I would never be in that situation because I'm in control and I know what I'm doing. The truth of the matter is, we don't really know what we're doing day to day. I mean, you ask the CEO, what are you doing? And she may tell you, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, emails, paperwork, and then I have a meeting, and then I'm going to find time to go to lunch at some point. And when you break it down, though, on any given day, it's all improvisation. Because even if you make a plan, let's be honest, how many times have you made a plan only to have it shattered? How many times have you had a plan go exactly as you thought it would? It can happen, because anything that can happen will happen, but I risk to bet that you can count it on one hand how many times something, I'm not talking about a little something, but something with a decent amount of weight within your life, whether it be picking a school, picking a partner, picking a vocation. How many times have you been able to plan that whole process out from the very beginning, and it followed through just as you thought, straight as an arrow, right? So where fear comes in is that point of, is fear going to stop you, or is it going to push you forward? So personally, I think of you know, those X Games athletes, the guys who are doing those crazy backflips, or even Formula One drivers. You know, they're going, I don't even know what the top number is, but they're going way too fast to be fully in control. You know what I mean? One pebble is the difference between making it home and spending the night in a bed that's not your own at the hotel that's called a hospital. Now, what's the difference, other than a want to be there, between the F1 driver and someone who is paralyzed by fear, even just looking at a vehicle? We don't need to answer that right away, but what I'm saying is that the guy who steps in to an F1 car, who steps on his dirt bike, getting ready to do this double backflip in front of thousands of people, is an appreciation, a respect, and an embrace for fear. Do you understand what I mean? I hope that example put you in the mindset. I hope you can picture that. Standing at the top of a ramp on your dirt bike, getting ready to fly 200 feet in the air across, 5 school buses. And in that moment, you're fine. You could back down. You could say, you know what, not today. Put your bike down, walk back down the stairs, maybe sign a few autographs on the way back, and lick your wounds. And but what is it that causes us to lean forward and go down that ramp into the unknown? What causes us to step through fear? Now, I'm not saying that all of us are going to find ourselves on the top of a ramp, but all of us are going to go through a moment where we need to lean forward into uncertainty. Right? So now for a lot of us, it has more to do with maybe business, maybe social, maybe academic fears. Will I make it? Am I good enough? What if I fail? What if I fail so badly and everyone finds out? What if a secret gets out? All these things that we carry with us day to day, all the what ifs. And yet, if you take a step back, have they happened yet? Have all of your fears happened yet? No. I really doubt that all of your fears have come true and been shoved in your face. And will they happen? Maybe some of them will. But again, a lot of your fears will never happen. Because fear only lives in your mind. Right? Because even if we get 5 people together that are all afraid of the same thing, all 5 people have different variations in their mind of this fear. You get 5 people in a room and say, I'm scared of heights. And then you ask them, okay, you're all scared of heights. Why? One person might say, I fell off a ladder as a kid and now I won't get back up there. Another person will say, I feel, my feet feel tingly and I feel like I might pass out. Another person says, it's not really how high up I am, it's how far I have to fall, and I don't want to fall. You get what I mean? So you have the same basic fear, and yet viewpoints can change person to person. So what I'm saying is your fear is your own. And the ability to walk through that fear, to lean forward on that ramp, is on you. Some of the greatest moments in history, some of the things that we take for granted today, seeing a car drive by, hearing about trains on the news that can go 300 kilometers an hour, watching planes land one after the other on the tarmac in the middle of the night, limited visibility, like clockwork, every day. Those ideas at some point had to go through the filtration of fear. What if this doesn't work? What if I build this car and nobody wants it? What if everyone is content with their horse and their buggy to go to town? What if I jump off this platform with these makeshift wings here and I fall and break my leg? And what happened? They leaned forward on that ramp of fear, took that leap, could even call it a leap of faith. They may have fluttered a little bit in the air, but there may have been times where they said, I should have never left that ramp. I was so warm and so cozy back there, and yet I'm the guy who went flying off of that perfectly good ramp. To do what? To entertain this crowd? But they landed. They landed it. Their ideas are still with us today, and they are so commonplace that we don't even realize it. How many of you today walked into a room or a part of a house or got into your car and flicked the switch and something happened? not only came about by trial and error, but that came about because someone had to push through that feeling of fear, that apprehension, that their thoughts, what they could see in their mind working for millions of people and people that they would never meet thousands of years down the road, they had to put that into action and overcome their own fears. So fear is never something that we should beat ourselves up for, nor is it something I feel we should ever judge our peers for. Fear is a very normal part of life, and it is okay to feel fear. In fact, I would say that I would rather feel fear than not, because that keeps me alert, that keeps me in the moment, and that keeps me focused on where I want to go, what I want to do, and how I want to do it. But what I am telling you is that it can be controlled. It can be molded to fit your needs. Whether it be a conversation you're not sure you should have, an application you're not sure you should send in, the answer, the strength, is within you. It's a level playing field out there, people. Right? It's how we attack each challenge and each situation that will influence the outcome. So I'd ask you to embrace your fears. And if not embrace, recognize your fears, not as shortcomings, but as something that maybe you need to put a little extra energy into. Because there's no time limit, right? It's on you. It's you versus you. This thing called life is you versus you. And when it comes to fear, maybe sometimes it'll slow you down. Don't feel bad about it. I'd feel worse if I quit altogether. But don't feel bad about having to take a step back and find a different way through your fear. We all have them. You're not alone. But your fears will not stop you. Not today. Not ever. Unless you let them. So take a step back. Look at yourself for who you are, for the strength that lives within you. And ask yourself, what is it that I'm truly afraid of? Because there is no one or no thing that can take you out of a race unless you take yourself out of the race. And I believe you can do anything you want to do. Respect yourself. Respect your goals. And respect your fear. Because we all know that there's nothing to fear except fear itself. And I don't feel like inviting fear into my life today.